Good evening, conversing crowd, to the rock bottom of the tippity-top division of ETF2L's own 6 vs 6 Season 52, known in vernacular as Summer 2026. Week 5 culminates in an all-in physical rap battle between clubbing Club Lugs and the still peaceful Mogwais. If you thought you only have to listen to my gibberish, don't worry. Ben prioritizes languages intelligible to others. And if you thought you had game sense, well, better think about it again. Beta beat you to it. On production, of course. Ben, seat number 9 versus seat number 10 on display tonight.
It should be a good one, shouldn't it? Like, genuinely, I'm looking at these teams and I'm like, okay, they've kind of both not had great seasons, right? That's why they're sat, as you say, in seats number 9 and seat number 10, right? It's not gone their way. But honestly, like, kind of watching the games, looking at like how they've ended up here, it's kind of not all been doom and gloom. I think they've been a bit unfortunate at certain times, but playoffs are rolling around in just 2 more matches after this one. So this is a real like 12-pointer of a game in terms of getting to those final playoff spots, because it's top 8 that get playoffs. So a win here really puts either of these teams in contention for a deep run this season, I think, at least into the playoffs.
A good horse only jumps as high as it needs be, I suppose. But honestly, I mean, looking at this sort of face-to-face statistic here, both of those teams gained their only points of the season so far out of Explosive Dogs, who supplied them with points themselves. Club Lugs winning it outright 6-0 in week 1, and Gremlins tying it 3-3 versus Explosive Dogs in week 4. And apart from that, all of them were 6-0 losses. So we have a real game on our hands in terms of skill levels, I suppose. Also, we have some new faces reappearing. We already saw people you don't have nameplates on, but did you spot anyone, Ben?
Well, we've got GREMLINS in the server, who is someone I was not expecting to see back in the year 2026. But it's great to have GREMLINS in the server coming in for Club Lugs. I know they've had like kind of a bit of roster roulette this season on Club Lugs. They've had like a fair few mercs from what I can remember. It's sort of been slightly unstable, but not having GREMLINS back is pretty huge, right?
Definitely. I mean, not only in terms of skill, but also how the enemy team maybe reacts to seeing a blast from the past old school player, and especially with the reputation that he carries, you know, it can just be a mental boost, if not a boost in terms of gameplay as well. But honestly, maybe putting some names to those players, I already casted GREMLINS before, have impressed me at some points. Usually did play in a very chaotic style against very chaotic teams. The roster is Utka and Mon on the scout classes, DQZ and Plucha on soldiers, Seno on demo man, and Mad Mac on medic classes. As for Club Lugs, do you have the full roster?
Not quite. I have 5 of the 6. I can tell us that we have Loopy and Grix on scouts, we have Yellen and Evie on the soldiers, and we have Fat Pigeon on medic. I don't know who their demo is. I believe it's normally Rivka on demo, but I don't know how they've like shuffled around. I know they normally have GG on soldier. But I know GG also plays demo, so I don't know if like the Yellen swap in is for GG or if it's for Rivka. And because they've not got the correct nickname, I actually don't know in the server. But it's one of those two. It's either Rivka or GG on the demo. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, if you swap him onto a demo man, also quite accomplished on that class. So definitely. I mean, you can basically point out it is one of those players that can literally play any class, it feels for me, in sixes. Like, so accomplished on every class, honestly. But we'll still have to wait and see. We don't have to wait and see for too long what maps we're playing here. We're evidently starting out on Gullywash.
Yeah, Gullywash first, and I believe Process second based on what was played in pre-game scrims, but we obviously don't know for sure. But Gullywash first should be an interesting one. I know if you're going to have like soldier mercs coming in and you want them to have impact, I guess Gullywash is one of the maps for that. And it's one of those maps that can sort of end a bit scrappy. I was looking at the pre-game scrim from the GREMLINS, and it got a little bit weird with the off classes. So I'll be interested to see if we get some more of that coming into the actual official, because I'm always down for some weirdness, some new creative ways to get things done. And we know obviously the likes of Mon and Utka and Plucha, like they all love a bit of silly business from time to time.
That we do not know for certain yet what the 2 maps are. I mean, the second map for that matter is, I feel, a fit occasion to mention or to put a disclaimer here. If you don't do your picks and bans early enough, you get a minor warning. That's always good to know, as a tip. Maybe you can include that when you load into a server, quick ETF2L tip, but should always do that. On Gullywash, obviously, you pointed it out, not only nominally the soldiers being more of an importance, but also snipers being zoned out way more. Usually they are locked to last points, pushing and defending them, that said. And if I do recall product gameplay with Mon on sniper, where expose me, where exploded by that sniper gameplay, I think this is a great boon that you don't have to deal with him on this map, because it's not that viable apart from the last point.
I agree. I think that game also sits rent-free in my head as well, because I think I remember Mon doing some outrageous amount of damage and kills, and they still lost regardless. So I think it was over 400 EPM. But yeah, there's some great off-classes over on the Gremlins side. But I think also got a few underrated players like Mon in particular has had a really good season for my money, and Stano has had some good moments from time to time too. I think in a game like this, they're going to need those kind of players to step up and get them going, because like we said at the start of this, right, this probably should be their best chance of getting points for the remainder of the season. They've obviously both played Explosive Dogs, who are another team that's sort of dangling around that lower end of the table. But with it being Swiss, there's only kind of so many games that you get to play against the bottom teams. Eventually you run out of teams around you to play, and they're going to have to start playing teams higher up the division for the last couple of weeks. And maybe it gets a little bit rough.
I mean, admittedly, if you don't make it to the top 8 of 10 teams, that's, obviously kind of rough. So I think both are still definitely into contention of even coming into playoffs. And just judging off that realistically, you only need to win in the playoffs, It's very simple for that matter once you reach there. And if you just lose, you're instantly out. It doesn't even matter your results from before. But I am curious how Club Lugs play. I haven't really seen their combo play and how well they are synced together. I do worry sometimes on Gremlins. Obviously only seen them really play on Product and on King of the Hill. But for me, sometimes difficulty in scrapping together their combo positioning. And here on Gullywash, that really shouldn't be that much of an issue, because the route is very clear. The choke points are very clear. You can't really get lost as your combo.
Yeah, they can't. And I think as well, we're looking, like you say, on the Club Lugs, it's weird, because I sort of wonder how the roster instability is going to affect them. Obviously for the combo it does help a little bit, but also the mid fights can be sometimes, it can be one of the tougher mids to coordinate in terms of the soldiers and the aggression that you're going for, especially when your demo's walking across point. There's plenty of options for soldiers to pop out underneath, and I did wonder with roster instability, the comms maybe not quite going to be as clean as they would be usually. Our teams that play with the same roster every week. We can stop the tournament, and we can start with the tournament, because we have players readying up, and we are good to go live with week 5, the final round of the final games of the week here. We've got Club Lugs coming in on the blue, and we've got the Gremlins over in the red. Take us away, Debater, on this first Gullywash mid.
The cam on Senno as he rolls on 69 health points. I do know our crowd. I also do know Madmac, who's plucked a bit apart from the yard, and now the health numbers do not really favor him, but he is healed up. We see now Yilin on the soldier roll. Plucha already ascending to the sky, shooting so much damage here. The blue members are so weak on HP. Plucha is bombing in essentially, but Pigeon is able to live, and the damage was blocked. Still though, they're clumping them in. It is still a very hefty fight here. Loopy's walking forward. Yeah, Loopy's doing a great deal of work, just making so much space. There's more space now for Yilin to get in behind, up from the drop down. Gets one kill on the flank. Now, Pigeon has run in. She's trying to sort of take the world into her own hands, but does not get the kill onto Madmac. I do not know how Pigeon ended up in that position, by the way. On the enemy side of mid, just completely alone. That was so weird, honestly. And Utger gets the last frag of that, let's call it a lengthened mid, and Gremlins eventually do come out on top. Fat Pigeon did die, was slaughtered, and Autolan after all, and devoured. Madmac kept alive. Loopy is now peeking from the river area, from Sniper. Can he find any favorable angle? Soldier, though, does spot him. And I was very much surprised. Usually a Gullywash mid doesn't take that long when soldiers do initiate, but eventually Gremlins come out on top, and now Uber push into last.
Full ad as well. I really did not see Mad Mac living that one, but here we go. Mad Mac in with the Uber charge, gets the gun down early. Got Heavy and Pyro coming up as off classes, but can they get out of spawn quickly enough? One kill coming in from Eevee underneath. Bomb comes in, massive damage actually into the point from Plucha, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Sano and Mad Mac, last two alive. They're getting chased up through river, and the Pyro is hunting down the medic.
Killbind, dude.
How often do we see this? Mad Mac, yeah, Killbind, surely.
What is he doing? Hello. Okay. 20 seconds on that guy, by the way, on the late spawner. That's pretty costly here. Oh, Utka is now peeking from on sniper from the big door. Doesn't really find any favorable angle here. Anywho, though, Eevee walks into set angle, and they haven't even started the cap now on the second point. Fat Pigeon on top still, and Plucha dodging the air shot, cratering. And
anyway. Oh dear. My eye has been drawn towards the potential air shot. I think all of the Club Lugs eyes were also drawn to that potential air shot because nobody was watching behind. And the back cap just comes in. There we go.
What was that round? Honestly, I want to dissect in the next 20 seconds that mid-fight. How did that mid-fight come to pass? Like, medics living for so long. Usually you are just exploded instantly once the soldiers initiate, but both of those teams kept alive for so long.
Yeah, it was good work from Pigeon initially defending that two soldiers bomb, but this time around it's been a bit more aggressive over from the side of Club Lugs, taking a lot of space up, but Rivka might have overstepped, does get bumped in from Plucha, but no, Plucha's taken down. That's the first frag of the only frag for now, as lots more space now being claimed up by these Club Lugs players. They get a clean capture on mid. Plucha's still a few seconds away from spawning up, and they can maybe use this one player advantage to maybe turn some pace in towards second.
Rivka was the winner of that mid-fight, but they want to fight now and battle for the big door. Eevee is caught out by the stickies of Sano, and Rivka basically sticked down Fat Pigeon on the opposing team and also defended himself, but now that means this mid-fight here can further on commence as they're taking hold of the midpoint. Grix is immediately eradicated. Huge rocket from DQZ, and the Uber is popped without any recipient early enough. The red one is way longer.
Dropping the scout at the start of that Uber does come back to bite the Club Lugs. They have a couple of players still in trying to get something out of this. As Loopy was in behind, Eevee managed to get in with a kill into Sano, which is a good reward, I guess, but it's not exactly what they're after. Mad Mac also falling, though, to a sniper in forward spawn. There we go, Grix. Getting revenge after being dropped in that first Uber charge, manages to get one back on Mad Mac. And does earn some advantage for Fat Pigeon, but you're always thinking, this is going to be 40-ish% advantage. They could think about pushing this.
They are thinking about taking a hold on the river now as Rivka is walking there. Loopy also has some stickies diffused here. They're pummeling with their bodies on top. Loopy is now encouraging his players to follow suit through big door mayhaps, and you see Rivka is just watching the baby store stickies so he doesn't get wrapped around. Utka still on sniper, quite accomplished, and Fat Pigeon close to Uber herself.
Yeah, there we go. The sniper doing a lot of good damage, but not quite finding enough frags yet. Oh, maybe getting one option here up towards choke, but no further peaks from the Club Lugs team. We're down to 4 players. It's a little bit awkward. They do still have advantage. Mad Mac hasn't been building too efficiently, given that Utka has been over on the sniper rifle. But you can see these players, they sort of scrambling back and forth between Big Door and Choke on the Club Lugs side. They really do not have time to push and use this advantage. But given the situation, down 2 players, I think they're kind of happy to just have this one stabilize at even Ubers, but they've still got that sniper to deal with.
It was the simple threat of the sniper and also some weird combo positioning from themselves, and in the end they lost a Uber percentage of around 40% that basically was the advantage. Utka has a wonderful opening shot here and another one onto the demo man. So much damage, and Rivka still waiting within the scope of Utka for this aiding bolt.
2 headshots on the demo, combined 300 damage, but the heals in between were just about enough. Uber charge actually comes in from Rivka, gets 1 kill onto a scout, but the counter pop is in now from Mad Mac. No scout in this Uber though. For the Gremlins, it's going to make it a little bit awkward. They can't really chase as far as they might have wanted to. So they've had to back up and just actually get a late kill into Loopy. That could be big actually for this re-peek back in with Plucha up behind, Sniper peeking in. The pressure is really amping up now for the Club Lugs.
Truly, and they're trapped out in behind now. It's 6 versus 2. A headshot in mid-air from Utka as well, making matters worse. Full wipe. making matters worse for my prediction as well, I was predicting, hey, Sniper doesn't really accomplish that much, honestly, outside of last, but apparently it is also not onto Mon, no, it is Utka, and they're locking them into the spawn right now, scintillating from the left with the beam. DQZ.
Loopy's doing amazing work, by the way. Did you see that underneath the point? Was like dancing around by the pillar, gets a free kill in onto Sano, and now he's actually still chasing forward into lobby. He does finally go down for his troubles, but manages to get a kill and also half a kill essentially onto DQZ. And that has bought so much space now for this aggressing team, but for how much longer? Because Utka is still hitting headshots on this sniper.
It was very interesting, honestly. I mean, DQZ played as you would if you want to lock the offensive team that just spawned into their own last point on top left, but second point also didn't have that viable of cap time, and you called it out, Loopy basically won that last point defense for his team, though Mad Max still features Uber advantage. There's a Pyro in the front line, though he is deterring them from pushing out any further aggressive. Fat Pitch is caught by Plucha in between the shutter doors, and now they all explode here on the last point. It's a long drawn out fight, 5 versus 3, 2-0.
Great stuff. Honestly, really intelligent there. We saw the Pyro looked like it was going to do so much work, and how many times have we seen it in the past where an Ubercharge tries to come in through shutter and the Pyro just stuffs it forever. But the Gremlins, they thought a step ahead. They had Plucha bomb it in and around from Launchpad. 2 rockets straight into the back of the Pyro, and that means that the Ubercharge can come in for free. And with that slight advantage, that was all the Gremlins needed, because now they're 2-0 up.
Usually before this all facilitated, because Rivka is basically uncontested. You see how slow the rollout is from Seno, and Rivka caught them in before Plucha is taken up to the air, but another sticky trap and another follow-up rocket here is unleashed. It is Fat Pigeon living, but only ephemerally, as DQZ is on the hunt.
Yeah, living for how long? I'm not sure if it's too much longer, because he's taken down finally an incredibly late spawner, 14 more seconds on that one. And the Gremlins, they seem to be running away with Gullywash. They are in complete control. That mid-fight was great. I don't have a clue, to be honest, how Sano lived that underneath the point getting bombed by 2 soldiers, but credit to Sano for getting away with his life. And now another Uber advantage, another chance into last, and a chance to put the lead at 3-0 for the Gremlins.
I also don't know how. They have basically lost every midpoint so far, because Rivka has been better than Sano and also locked down Mad Mac before, but now Seno just has his volley of stickies unleashed on the sentry gun. Mon can just cap it. So much cap time here unleashed. Very easy as well. Use your bodies, use the Uber to block the point and just shoot all those players apart. 3-0, and again, it is all starting on those mid-fights, and the only real long round we had was the 2-0 that ended in a 2-0, and it was basically the sniper just existing all the time.
Another quick clean round. There's only 10 minutes gone in this game, by the way, Tomato, and it's already 3-0. And this has been it's been dominant stuff. But this time around, can the Club Lugs turn some of this early aggression into actual realised mid-fight wins? We've got Double aggressive, really aggressive this time, landing both sides, trying to pincer out from this elbow, but they're getting denied incredibly well. Utka with an early frag in onto Eevee. Yullen, incredibly weak, trying to get behind up from elbow, is taken down also. Now with both soldiers down, Grix also falling on the flank. They're just going to leave.
So I've spotted the issue finally. Mad Mac takes around 90 damage from Rivka all the time, and then he's ushering his scouts and even the soldiers in anew to kill Mad Mac. But Mad Mac, insane survivability. Seno caught out in lobby. That definitely helps you and facilitates you fighting for the second point, subduing some players from the low ground, since you're still fighting for your own high ground. Mad Mac doesn't have Uber yet, and they're simply pressing them out. It's now a position where they have 2 players advantage and still pushing. Rivka is being popped onto. Fat Pigeon has a longer glow.
Yeah, Fat Pigeon has a longer Uber charge, but it's not really a good Uber charge, because Rivka had backed out incredibly far. Luby had got really aggressive into enemy elbow, and the Uber charge was popped in between and couldn't really reach either target. There was a big miscommunication there from Club Lugs into how they wanted to deal with that situation, but it could have been, like you said, such a better Uber. And look at how they're getting punished. They're already down 4 players, getting a couple of spawners back in. DQZ already spamming out towards the last point, and I think Gremlins might be looking to sort of turn the pace earlier here. With a snipe onto Loopy also. Why not? They're up 2-0 already.
They're walking in unfettered. Finally, Mon falls to a point-blank rocket unleashed in his face. Utka on his main class all the time.
Why not? It's been working, hasn't it? There we go. That is Caster's Curse at the perfect timing. As soon as I say the sniper is working, like, the rocket has already been fired into Utka's face.
Brilliant. Senno backs out, by the way, gets away with murder here. Not out of harm's way yet, though, and Mad Mac pops an Uber. Fat Pigeon, not even in a forcible scenario, theoretically, doesn't have Uber herself. Finally, Club Lugs have some decent composure set up. They are even delaying DQZ.
Sniper again, just getting crucial picks over on this flank from Big Dot. Utka's hitting everything, it seems, and the drop comes in from the sticky trap. Oh dear, just when things look like they might be looking up for a moment for the Club Lugs, it's all stripped away from the Loopy coming in, Grix coming in. They're trying to get whatever they can on these two scouts, but they just can't salvage enough. Mad Mac lives, Utka still reigns supreme on the sniper, and Mon and DQZ can walk forward with their own beam to reclaim second, and with another big Uber advantage, once Sano spawns up, they're going to be flinging themselves to the last again.
So Gremlins have elected the path here for Club Lugs, the path of hurt and chaos and pain, as Utka is already unleashing, well, one shot here into a soldier. Eventually it's a trade, if you even want to call it like that. Periodically, if we shift our eyes toward Mad Mac, he's healing players in river. We have a 50% Uber, let's send it.
Here we go, Uber charge comes in front of the Sano, gets the gun down with some help from Blue. Has spam towards the top left hand side. Club looks really struggling to get out of this doorway. The heavy up in secret is going to manage to just about put the point in time. Only 3 players left up now actually for the Gremlins. And that is a push held, and I thought we were in a bit of trouble there getting that left spawn locked out, but the heavy in secret just about doing enough to deny the captain towards that point. And what's even better for Club Lugs is that Pigeon did not have to use that Uber charge. She still has 100%. And she's going to want to try and use this into mid, which is something that Club Lugs haven't really had much fortune with in the past.
Suffice it to say, Loopy is the MVP on Club Lugs for me so far. Not only from this heavy defense, obviously, but also running around on Scout. Usually very well focus firing those players down that were previously damaged. They take the pathway through drop down because you dodge a potential sniper that was obviously not on the field. They didn't have the info about that though. And secondly, you don't leave yourself vulnerable to any high bombs. And now Mad Mac does have an Uber. Are they aware of it? They are not.
No, what is this? This is a disaster of an Uber charge. Pigeon gets taken down and dropped down eventually. But again, it's so discoordinated from Club Lugs. They've got a med going in with a scout. There's players caught out behind. They presumably still think it's ad and it isn't. It's just it's sloppy from Club Lugs again, and they're being punished.
They simply didn't expect them to have Uber there. That was how you play that. Anyway, now trying to dislodge some players walking forward again. It's very difficult. I mean, we still have 15 minutes on the clock here, 15 and a half
Loopy's
minutes.
trying to block.
Loopy is in the forward spawn.
Good effort.
Good effort. Switches now to Pyro. Mad Mac on 80% already talking, walking through river.
Here we go. See if Gremlins can get themselves back into this one. There is going to be a gun to deal with, but they are down a player already because Evie's managed to get 1 kill and a lot of damage over onto Mon, who does win out that fight eventually. The Uber charge comes in from his left-hand side. Gun still lives for a moment. Cap time can start coming through now, but there's a heavy to deal with. There's a scout to deal with up in this high ground, and I don't know if they've got the space they need. They've got players on the point though, actually. Utka and DQZ doing great work underneath, and they've got a lot of damage here over the Gremlins side. Maybe they can still make this work.
Oh, Heavy has to pull a lot. He does do so eventually. 58 HP here on Senno, who's walking in forward, but he cannot do enough. Not enough loaded in terms of projectiles and health bar meter. Heavy, not in secret this time around, made it a very difficult fight, but able to swap their players out, intermittently change them out. It is a Pyrrhic victory for that matter, since now Fat Pigeon again has to walk forward with his players, with her players. Ilin just dies.
Yeah, Ilin bombed in to try and catch players who were staying in choke to try and delay, which is a good idea, but just sort of, again, there weren't the players there to support, and now the Uber charge has to pop through, but look at Mad Mac, 90% already. They can just use this straight back in. Yes, the Uber charge catches 1 kill, but Gremlins, as soon as this cap comes through, maybe not even before the caps come through, they could just use straight across this point, Chariot Uber from Utka and Mon, as they reclaim mid and go one step further. They want to barge in a second with this.
They're still barging here. DQZ is already taken up to the air. One wonderful rocket here into Fat Pigeon, and some rocket ricochets might be unleashed as Mon is already trotting forward on the top line here. And the soldiers are up for the grabs very easily. Honestly, Eevee just wanted to buy time for his own combo to back out. Now River is where the action is still continuously developing. Senno is plucking some pipes forward. Doesn't really matter. The Uber is basically even. 3 players down. You can pressure into last. You see still 5 seconds on those spawners.
They can. Eevee and Grix still a few moments away, so there's been no time to set up a gun or anything. This is the time to go if you are going to start sending sacks in. DQZ already underneath. Might be walking up for Captain, might be just walking up for some damage, but Yulin has that under lock and key for now. Heavy still up instead of a sentry gun, so Club Lugs, they're still not feeling comfortable on this last. They've not had that moment of release, but actually, they're deciding to walk this out. They're taking lobby.
I do like this. I mean, they're juggling their resources, not confined to last this time around, and trying to make stuff happen. This is how you play it now. Fat Pigeon along with the Pocket Scout on top. Mon is the very first victim of this play.
Yeah, Mon tries to run in behind up through lower, but doesn't manage to get in, gets caught out there by Yulin. But this is going to have to be a retreat from the Club Lugs. It's like, okay, things kind of went as well as they could in terms of getting space, though, but they even got a frag for it. But like pushing out of last, as much as they want to do it with that tiny advantage, and given that they're 3 rounds down on the board, it's just, there's a reason that we don't see teams doing this very often, right? It's not easy. One small thing doesn't go your way, and it's curtains.
It's Gullywash last for a reason. Grix is on the engineer now, and Loopy on Pyro, so simply turtling. The Uber comes through the shutter. Loopy is basically protecting it all. Sentry gun goes down. Senno can be caught, but probably nothing will be established out of that. Mon falls. Difficult though still to push out, and obviously since you have off classes.
They're looking like they want to go for it though, right? They've swapped off their off classes. They've got Loopy and Grix back on the scout classes now. They've got 2 soldiers though of spam to deal with when they try and walk forward. Eevee's already felt the brunt of that so far. She's had to back up into River for a moment now, but the scouts are in. There's a sniper up now from Utka, and the Demoman of Sano is going to be here ready to fight on second potentially. The second point for the moment has been reclaimed by the Club Lugs, but for how long? Because this sniper again peeking in from Big Door. It's done good damage before, now we're going to see it again.
A host of deficiencies makes up for great impact. In other words, if you simply don't have the time, you are pressured into making plays. And it worked out this time around. DQZ catches Loopy, though that doesn't really help. Utka is on Sniper again, but that push out was very well coordinated, very well curated. Still have to deal with Utka, and they really just have to push into the midpoint, but waiting for their Uber, obviously.
Utka's already taken the first head over onto Eevee. She tries to walk up forward again, but actually the Ubercharge just popped straight away. Mad Mac a lot later on the use of the Ubercharge for the Gremlins, and that's going to mean that DQZ and Pluha are going to have a feast of frags waiting for them on the low ground on this second point. Look at this, the damage is huge. Big coming from Yulin does get a kill onto Mad Mac to salvage things up, but does that actually matter? There's only 1 player left alive.
They're still juggling on the balcony here. I'm not even sure whether or not this is Team Fortress 2, Flappy Birds, or Pinball, as they were all being pinballed. Now it's an absolute lockout of the last point, and sometimes you win, sometimes the other team does win. So this is eventually what happens, 4-0. But I mean, you are taking your chances, and you're taking a like 20 to 30% chance. It's better than sitting on your last at 0% chance or waiting for the round reset essentially, and then having even fewer resources to make it work. But on that second point, Soldiers being the dominant force, Rivka being absolutely popped up into the sky, and Red Team simply had the longer Uber again.
Yeah, like you said though, this made it has to be different now for Club Lugs. You said before what the problem was. You said the damage was good before into Mad Mac. This time around it hasn't materialised. The Rivka not able to find that initial damage. But this time it's all about who can aggress forward. Loopy really aggressive across the point. Soldiers flying in now for the Club Lugs. Bombing in is Yulin onto Sano. Sano goes down into the low ground, takes a lot of damage, trades out. But both the soldiers were invested for that, and Blue Heart in the back line has managed to get in and managed to get into a 1v1 with Pigeon, and Pigeon somehow survives. And I do not quite know how.
Pigeon does survive, and the birds are chirped success from the trees here, as it is also Loopy running in behind, not able to find anything. But Ben, if they don't get early damage, if Rivka doesn't have an amazing start to the mid-fight, they win this because they play more conservative. That's nice.
Yeah, it was genuinely well played. And they caught out Sano early on as well, which made a really big difference. Sano's been doing a lot of good work in these mid-fights previously, and there we go. This is a chance, alright? There is 9 minutes left, 4 rounds to find. It's possible We saw, well, we didn't see, we actually missed this game on stream on Thursday. It wasn't one we streamed, but the odds played Garda, and Garda managed to fight back in a similar kind of position for a similar amount of time left. And Mon at the first to fall as Loopy's already hitting heads. Ubercharge actually forced out as well from Mad Max, so maybe this is the win for the Club Lugs if they can get something going in this post-Uber.
It will be difficult though, and there was a soldier in behind, took a lot of damage, but it's all onto Grix here. The Pocket Scout already, Mad Mac is eviscerated. Can they evaporate some more players? And there is already a soldier bombing onto the medic. Can Fat Pigeon live here? Can she spread her own wings? Doesn't really maybe matter since it's, well, now it's also the shots here hit from Mon. If he went down earlier, maybe that could have been a push into the last, not even capping the second of that.
Yeah, they're trying to actually get in for second, actually. Mon's still fighting Loopy with a 1v1 and still winning on. How many kills has Mon got in the middle of this fight, right? Feels like this fight has been eternal. But once again, the Gremlins somehow hang on. Despite a much worse Ubercharge, they managed to just catch a kind of fractured Club Lugs team, and they win out all their individual fights, so credit to Gremlins for that. And now when things stabilise back out, the timer was at 9 minutes when I started talking before. It's now at 7 minutes 40. Even Uberchargers, and the game is really slowing down. Utka still on the sniper is going to be another nuisance though, even on defending.
I have repeated the same terminology. Mon is simply a one-on-one monster in those fights. Rivka just falls down. Utka has a wonderful peek into that big door, and now it's only a soldier hiding solitarily on the ground. Eevee not able to inflict anything on neither Mad Mac or his ancillary teammates. It's a very easy flush out, only 7 minutes.
And they might even want to go further as well. The bomb comes in, the force comes in as well. Great work there from DQZ as the Ubercharge can get absolutely nothing besides that one singular soldier kill. And yeah, everyone's going to have to back away now over on Club Lugs. 6 minutes left. We're almost getting into the realm of infeasibility as we see the Gremlins walk up forward. They can slow walk. They don't even have to rush. The advantage is that big. They probably don't even care that much about getting it all the way into last for this. Yulin's the first to fall. Rivka dropping down might be drawn. Mad Mac actually does get forced by some really nice work. I believe that was Eevee who managed to sneak in behind. She got a couple of good rockets over on to Mad Mac, but eventually, like, wait, they're actually like kind of hanging on here with the back cap as well. Wait a second, I'll hold my tongue because Club Lugs might still have some bite in them.
I mean, Mad Mac, insane balls on that man, honestly, holds on 20 HP, doesn't pop, but the second soldier was too much, would have 100% dropped if he did not dare to pop, but he did dare to pop. Utka is caught as well by Loopy, and the back cap facilitated them simply walking forward. Also, Fat Pigeon was kept alive. They still do feature a wonderful Uber advantage here. Can simply lock them out. DQZ unexpected though from top, and Plucha as well. They find Pigeon.
Really nice coordination again from these Gremlin soldiers. Eevee's going to try and go in behind to try and get some kind of salvage, but does actually just opt to come back to help out in this fight up against Mon, who's been a real handful for the Club Lugs all map so far. Does get traded that 1-for-1 there. As Gremlins once again, just like this constant back and forth, scrappy fights both ways, no medics getting out, or at least Pigeon not getting out in this situation. It's all playing into the favour. Oh, wait, what? bit of a jump scare.
Oh, I didn't even see the sniper. That was wonderful. I'm slowly gaining second-hand anger though against playing against, like, or even watching them playing against Gremlins. The Gremlins make it so difficult. Loopy maybe even finds a head here. Oh, that was so close. Mad Max still hides his little tinky head in between the hill, but they do pop an Uber.
Yeah, Ubercharge is popped out, but for what value are they really getting for this? They actually, oh, never mind. They actually get the kill into Pigeons or with Sano. Okay, this is looking a lot better than it did originally. Loopy's still kind of playing some awkward, like, kind of cover-based shooter game in lobby, trying to dance around the aggressing soldiers. Rivka, 1 HP warrior, backs out of second onto mid, excuse me, just about, maybe not for much longer. And again, we are, I'm going to declare it at this point. I don't let anyone else declare it, but I declare this is now garbage time. I think we might start seeing silliness at this point that we haven't previously seen. Grix is already in underneath, trying to do whatever they can. Everyone's just playing for fantasy points and logs, or lugs, I guess, if you're on Club Lugs. I guess that's what TF is.
Did you know that in week 5 we start using the Benny config?
Do we? That's crazy.
No, melee kill, sorry, on Fat Pigeon. Utka with the kukri is slicing that bird down into very handsome and favorable bits to be chewed up, but eventually just Utka running around, shooting them apart. 5-0 probably, as the mercy rule does kick in.
Here we go, last attempt here for the Gremlins. They got full Uber charge advantage, one player up already. We've already got aggression into lobby from Rivka and from Grix, whose turn it is with the sniper. But the frags still all going Gremlins, where I think this might be all she wrote. More headshots ringing in from Utka as the march on forward continues. Gremlins 5-0. Dominant.
Don't feed them after midnight. Do not feed them before midnight as well, apparently, as those Mogwais turned savage. And honestly, it was simply them outplaying Fat Lugs? No. Simply outplaying them on that Gullywash game, honestly. I was worrying whether or not the mid fights were the main dictating force why they lost that entire map. I mean, that was the reason why they lost 3 out of the 5 rounds, but even on second, I was hinting at it. I'm getting second-hand anger management issues just watching this game. It's so difficult to even adapt, you know? Once you think you have one advantage, suddenly Gremlins switch up so much stuff. Suddenly they have a sniper in that position, they have a sniper in another position, there are soldiers always high-bombing. It was so insanely difficult, honestly, to tackle them, even in an uber advantage situation.
I don't like sort of giving this excuse out, but it also, as well as like obviously there was good, like the Gremlins did sort of play well as a unit at times, but it also did kind of feel a lot of the game that they were also just winning out every single individual battle. Particularly their scout, like Mon had some great moments, Utka on the sniper, like they had like a level of individual flair that I really think I think Club Lugs really struggled to handle. And going on to Process, not a map, but you really want to play against players that are feeling like that. And I want to say something about these logs, right, by the way. Like Utka, 31-9 on top of logs. 19 of those are with sniper.
And the numbers of the blue team not looking that great. I mean, I suppose Grix is helping his own team out. He's the only one really going positive, but also Fat Pigeon, sizable depth discrepancy compared to Mad Mac. Obviously, soldiers can't really do a whole lot. I've also seen a 9-25 KD on a team that is winning. Again, space created, but yeah, I mean, those numbers, do we need to say anything about those numbers? I think they do speak for themselves. Utka also is a top damager, by the way. Tops the charts even above his own demo man.
Yeah, it's just it was a really, really good performance from the Gremlins. And yeah, they've clearly feeling warmed up for that one. And over onto Process, it's weird because what I think worked for the Gremlins in the first map is going to work for them even more on Process. I don't know which way around like the maps were picked, like who picked what, but like I get the vibe that like if you have players who are this comfortable and this confident mechanically, I think Process is the map you want to put those players on if you get the choice. So I would not be surprised if this is actually Gremlin's map pick.
Sniper has even more space. That's all I'm going to say. It's so hard, honestly, to find any wonderful words here. I mean, if we look, 70 mediguns obviously used. Also the survivability of Mad Mac, even if they try to evaporate him in a full-out deathmatch war, Illen teaming up with Eevee and maybe even Scout thrown into the phrase, where Mad Mac very well kept himself alive, very well protected by his own players as well. So even if you think it's a clear-cut fight, it truly never is. And in Process, it's even less so, since the points are more stretched horizontally. You have more vision. It is very telegraphed for that matter. Maybe bar pushing through IT, but again, you can simply sit a soldier there, and we've seen that those soldiers, I don't even think we have seen all the facets here of those Gremlin soldiers. We usually saw them coming in cheekily, but probably also very well adept to holding simply flanks for a sniper.
Yeah, no, they also like had They had some good mid fights as well. I will say, like DQZ and Pluha had some good moments. And yeah, like obviously we can see it one on the sniper, but they also made Pigeon's life kind of hellish, right? Like Pigeon was not having a fun time with the constant sniper. All of the soldiers too were like really on her back the entire game. But they got to just like on Club Lugs, they got to sort of put that behind them. Try and look forward. As much as I say Gremlins, I think this map favours them even more. It just play very differently to a map like Gullywash, right? Like it's more of kind of the traditional like 3-lane kind of thing. You can rotate on the mid. Like it does play differently in a lot of facets, but like that's maybe what the Club Lugs have got to look forward to, right? Maybe they can turn things around. Maybe they can just lock in for this map and get an all-important 3 points on the board, because if things stay as they are, I think Club Lugs might end up quite far adrift at the bottom of this Premiership table.
I mean, prime question here, how do you mitigate losing the scout battle on top? Because I'm pretty sure this is about to happen if Loopy doesn't hit insane meat shots all the time.
I think Loopy and Greeks didn't even do that bad, right, for a lot of the game, right, on Gullywash, right? Okay, like not on the level of what like Mon and Utka were doing, right? But like I think at the end of the day, like they are capable scouts, right? They both played the class at like a very high level in the past. They've had some good games earlier this season as well, right? They've got it in them to match for sure.
I'm not saying this to down-talk anyone, but I'm just grasping the real possibility that this could be a concept. And now the question arises, how do you even counter this? Do you send your soldiers in early, or do you rather try to fake bomb curve, try to distract the viewpoints of those scouts, and then trying to go slowly? But I mean, if I'm going to take any sort of concept, if I were in their team and I would be talking, I would say we try maybe to play it a bit more conservative, because going very aggressive on Gullywash definitely didn't help out.
Yeah, it didn't, especially, right, I'll credit to Mad Mac for that as well, right? Because like as much as the aggression came in from Evie and Yulin, right, like they always seemed like they had the answer over on the Gremlin side. But will the Club Lugs have the answer here on Process? On map number 2 of this Week 5 ETF2L top division fixture, it was a 5-0 to Gremlins on map number 1. Club Lugs want to bounce back on Process. Will they be able to do it? Take us away for the first mid-fight, Tomato.
They're lagging themselves here onto the mid-fight. No one is really lagging behind, as Rivka is a bit faster, honestly. Bit weaker, though, as well as Senno. Now it's a rather slow approach until Pluha wants to unleash hell here, already taking up to the air. Not really watched Senno as the very first victim to fall. Pluha also will crater. Never mind! It's a rocket in mid-air, and good night there. Evie is taking no prisoners today. Loopy also is taking some favorable loops in behind. Mad Mac is not really aware of a double good night to you.
Beautiful stuff. And Loopy still fights on as well, still actually in a battle with these two players behind. But what an air shot that was on mid from Evie. Brilliant stuff. That's the kind of confidence builder that Club Lugs 100% needed. Just get those players popping off in the VC and the Mumble Call, get everyone feeling good about things, and now they can look forward to pushing on to last, because for the first time in this entire series, it's a full Uber ad into last. Sano, an incredibly late death too, and even though Loopy's a little bit slow to get in here, they might just go because there's no demo to defend.
So many mitigating factors for them right now, as the sentry are not even that set up, also not hidden behind the pillar, so instantly it is zapped of its own vitality. Now Rivka is also barreling down the damage. The players go on to the point. It is very simple. Senna was caught out late in the lobby area, and what a banger, what a blitzkrieg round.
Brilliant stuff, honestly, from the Club Lugs. Where was this last map, right? This everyone's stepping up in their own way. But like you said before, they went for a kind of the more passive approach to the two. They waited for, like, Pluha was the first one to bomb in. They absorbed that bomb incredibly well, and then they counter-attacked. They took down Sano, and then they started marching on forwards. This time around, are we going to see more of the same? Are we going to see a passive sort of wait and react mid, or are we going to see something more proactive from the Club Lugs?
Shouldn't be baited in by harassing fire. Senno already is propelling his own stickies forward. DQZ has his mid-jump ruined a bit, also doesn't have enough rockets here to fully unleash. Yinin is now taking up to the blue battlements area here, essentially having a high bomb, just faking. No, never mind, now landing! Absolute destruction! It is in the choke. They only lose Yelin, but that is what you want. Mon also not finding the shots onto Fat Pigeon. Again, a bit slow at the start, but absolute nuke. Senno also being eradicated.
Sano detting on themselves as well. Honestly, like, it's probably worth it just to backspot quicker, right? But it's funnier than the kill mine, so credit to Sano for that one. But these mid-fights are just amazing from Club Lugs to second up, and they're reaping the rewards once more, pushing it onto the last Uber charge, ready to use, but like, are they even going to need it, right? The points are already getting capped up, players are coming back in. Loopy actually falls, there's big damage coming in, actually DQZ, and they are going to have to use this Uber charge, maybe a little bit of complacency from the Club Lugs initially, but 3 frags are coming through. I think they might have this under control.
Crazy air shots, and that will definitely help them so much here. They're simply playing the long-term fight. The sentry gun is now being bolted down by the crossbow of Fat Pigeon, and that's a 2-0. A wonderful, let's call it, air shot, but air shot on the wall as well, though. So air wall shot, I suppose, on the Pyro didn't really matter. But again, I will repeat this time your vocabulary. Where was this play on Gullywash?
Great stuff again, like the mid-fight once more. Again, it's a weird kind of slow burn mid-fight, and it was even weirder because normally we see these like slow burn mids. Wait, is Sano not running out? Oh, going incredibly slow. Just like deciding to waddle the second half of the mid-fight. It's not always we see this. I guess maybe extra scared of getting pressured out early on, but he's working out because Evie's the first to fall. As she falls to the pistol of Mon, 2 for 2 in terms of the frags for now, but Fat Pigeon gets caught by Bluha, who manages to get in aggressively behind. Rivka, the last one in on the mid, like proper. Gonna get joined up with by Grix as they try and like kind of slow this one down and buy enough time for their own medic to come up and get an Uber charge up and ready. But for now, Gremlins complete control of this round. Really nice bomb from Pluha, and they can finally look to get themselves into this game. 4 minutes in, they're already 2 rounds down. They've got to start now.
So Gremlins played even more passive than Club Lugs. Sano decided or elected to do the Muma rollout, which was a demo man who basically walked to mid, and that worked out so perfectly for his own team. If you play conservative and slow, we will play even slower. But it is Madmec a bit delaying his own crossout since Loopy is still finding DQZ with a fully charged body shot, was probably aiming for the medic, but either way we are going to push into that last.
That might be an important frag actually, because this last push is not trivial at all, especially not with the demo man is getting juggled around by the sentry gun in that way. We've got Loopy coming for the heavy. We've got Gremlins pushing in from this right hand side, trying to spam out towards the spawn. They've got to be careful because Fat Pigeon is 97% on this Uber charge, and now the recollapse can come in. Soldiers going forward, Uber charge coming in as well from Grix and from Fat Pigeon. Can they get any more frags though with it, or are they going to have to back out and just sort of think, you know what, we've repelled the assault for now? But no, they're actually walking forward even further. They want to try and cap second.
Red team seemed to want to withdraw from it, but still darting forward. At least the soldiers are, and contesting this point here. It is not that easy to be kept in front of their eyes. Now it is kept. The Ubers are in a parity stake. Mon is, though, shooting some players apart here on the low ground, and they don't have any favorable angle as well on Rivka. Still trying to basically control areas with projectiles.
Grix first to fall, and I think that is going to spell retreat for these Club Lugs players. They've got to be a little bit careful because it is slight advantage to Madmec having popped the Uber charge earlier in onto last, and they do use the Uber charge instantly in through one, trying to get some control over towards heaven. We've got Sano up above, we've got bombs coming in towards the spawn, but Loopy gets the Uber charge up of his own. Gets it onto the point, blocks it out enough, but the frags are not being found quite yet for the Club Lugs. Bombs come forward, point cap comes through, and the Gremlins, under the noses of the Club Lugs, manage to get their first round on the board.
Simply dwarfing them with out rotations. Gremlins walking on the right side early. Heavy is then brought close to the point. Fat Pigeon pops it basically onto instinct before, but it was very easy. They simply focused the players that were not Ubered. They took a high ground behind them, and this is how you separate the respawn wave that just wants to defend the point and just took all the damage basically in front when they weren't Ubered. Now it's a double bomb here from the red soldiers. We have not really seen that. It is, though, exemplary why you don't really do that, because they don't find anything, just simply take damage and delay the mid-fight to unravel. Now everyone is buffed up. Now the double soldiers on the blue team here unleash on the medic.
Madmec dances and weaves away in towards the death corner where Grix comes in, and Grix can't manage to find the shots either. Madmec lives to fight another day. Pigeon and Rivka both going to try and scurry away onto this last point, and I think they are just about able to do it, but a bit of a disaster of a mid. The double bomb comes in, and they're both so committed on like firing sort of like 60 damage splashes towards the medic who's Madmac who's running away. They don't actually find any other frags or any other damage, so it's an instant retreat.
It's a broad array of adaptions on the mid-fights. DQZ was in onto last as well, but Griggs is protecting that last point. No cheeky shenanigans. Maybe now it does slow down. Very fast conversions so far. 3 rounds already ticked down in terms of last caps. Loopy on the sniper, trying to peek from lobby. Doesn't find the angle on Seno, and maybe we are reaching into a tranquil position. Utka picks up the rivalry sniper rifle.
It worked on Gullywash. I'd argue that sniping into processed last is probably equally as strong. And yeah, we'll see if Utka's able to find heads the way that he was able to find them over on Gullywash. He was a real handful on that first map as he decides to peek over towards 5. See if there's any angles to be spotted. Gun spam down as well from Pluha. That's a really important bit of work onto this last point, because now the Ubercharge actually forced out and traded into the lobby. Club Lugs did not like the situation they were in. They decided, you know, we're just going to trade Ubercharges. We'll try and buy ourselves some time for this hold and buy ourselves a little bit of space.
Utka still peeking from rollout. Can he find any angle here? Could be excellent use of free choice. Illen down, and also minus 50 on an engineer. Simply scaring him. Was also carrying one building. Seno reps to the right side. They are still swaying to the right, while Utka is trying to cut a swathe to the left. There was an instant Benny bind, and that did save the engineer from being headshot. Mad Max so weak, by the way, on 5 HP in that entire fight. Jesus.
Yeah, this is getting really messy and really frantic for the Club Lugs. They're really trying their best to get some kind of setup, but they're being dragged left and right by the Gremlins, who are just rotating and rotating and rotating and pressuring, and they never let Club Lugs get comfortable this entire hold. There's still no gun. The guns are just been getting spammed down by the soldiers every single time. Griggs has had to go up on heavy. Loopy's still a late spawner, but Utka has put down the rifle, which to me spells something a little bit faster, a little bit more aggressive. Ubercharge actually popped in from Sano, as they just want to try and get the trade out instantly.
Now pipe onto Fat Pitch, she doesn't even pop, holds onto it. Quite respectable. She saw no accompanying damage was coming in. Can we simply talk, by the way, of the sequence of 30 seconds ago? Mad Mac going down to 5 HP, but eventually they were able to fight this Uber off, and Fat Pigeon, trusting into her own teammates, also saw no other damage was coming in. They can simply pressure them out. Have every eye. This is the main object here. You want to spot every player so you don't get backcapped.
There they go. And the thing is as well, like Mad Mac, like in that fight, because they were staying in, because they were trying to delay as much as possible, wasn't able to build particularly efficiently. So the advantage still sits at 50%. Ubercharge being ripped in through the IT. Big bomb aggressive here from Rivka. 1 kill onto Sano is a really big one actually. Demo man down. Point going to get capped up for Club Lugs. Mad Max 70% Ubercharge. There is maybe a window to put some aggression under second, but for me it looks as if Club Lugs want to just sit it out and just wait and just buy time and then play the flip-flop game.
Gremlins would have probably pushed now with this Uber ad here into the midpoint if they were up 4-1, but on being down on 2-1, I'm not so sure about that.
No demo as well.
Yeah, look at the rotations here. Waiting for your demo, you still do have enough time. I mean, 40% Uber advantage here. DQZ is already creating some space. It's a very cardboard scenario, cookie cutter that is. Soldiers take space, have vision, call the enemy team, and the simple threat here of this Uber advantage is forcing them out.
It's calm stuff from Club Lugs. They didn't want to overextend. Like, there is the option there, you can just like sack players in to try and get the force, but they decided against it. They said, you know, we'll respectfully back out, we'll take an even Uber second point. But the thing with the even Uber second point is you actually have to take the even Uber situation. You can't just let them walk in for free. And Gremlins have got a lot for free on the second. Look at the damage. Fat Pigeon down to single digits for a moment. Yillen weak as well. Yillen finally bombs back in also. Jesus. And maybe they can actually stabilize on Club Lugs.
Those medics are courting death, and so do the other players, honestly. Finally, Plucha is plummeted down into the ground, and Fat Pigeon and Rivka, they were not really sure if they wanted to take the fight on second. Then Pigeon tried to recommit, took 109 damage plus X, and essentially survived. And now they are using this Uber now. The scouts still jousting on the midpoint, but trying to jostle toward the choke here. Rivka's caught.
Brilliant stuff from Utka in that solo Uber. Forces so many flashes that the Ubercharge fades right when Yillen is Excuse me, Rivka is about to fall there, but now we know down, man. This is a great situation for the team in red. The Gremlins can just walk straight in. It's even Uber charges, yes, but they are up players. They are up time. Gun still getting set up. There is an opportunity now to start walking forward and start getting some pressure in. Yulin in behind though gets a really nice kill in onto Madback and a second one onto Pluha. And unless these scouts can sneak a cap through, I think that's going to be the end of this last push.
Wonderful. It is Seno now being absolutely torn to bits. It's still Utka on 5 HP. Still have to kill him. He is now warping himself out. That was wonderful. On a 4K, he is in Mad Max spawning. Fat Pigeon on 90 HP, and now the counter bombs are unleashed here on this midpoint, but it's another medium air shot.
Nice stuff from Yulin now, but Ubercharge is only just up and ready for Fat Pigeon, but she's already taken so much spam alongside the rest of the combo. They've decided to back out of one for the one, but they do come flying back in. Ubercharge in hand, bomb comes forward from Rivka. Can they cut off anyone? They certainly can, because Mad Mac falls on the retreat through the choke, and now Point can just about be getting capped up. Aggression comes back into these soldiers. DQZ, Blue Hat in, kill onto Fat Pigeon, onto Rivka, onto Loopy as well. The damage is nuclear on this point, but Pickaxe Fight comes in, does not quite find anything. And they do finally cap on Club Lugs, but at what cost?
Absolute absurd. That was carnage, that was ballistic, and that was why etymologically battery is from Latin to send shockwaves through the enemy team. That was insane. Like, those soldiers nuking. It was very well coordinated from the scouts in that early fight from Club Lugs, but honestly, Gremlins just simply pressing the issue, and the fact that they have more DM in that sort of compartment and also some rockets loaded. They are now on the midpoint, and Club Lugs didn't cap that set mid. At least Fat Pigeon does have an Uber advantage, so maybe they can slowly pressure this once more in, and again, the midpoint has sizable amount of cap time on it.
Yeah, what's quite funny is that Pigeon shouldn't really have ad. It's the fact that there was 10 seconds of Mad Mac just standing around waiting for a heal target, but now they're actually aggressing in regardless on Gremlins. They don't want to wait around, they want to try and get something going. Uber charges in, the Mad Mac does not have Uber, 10 HP does fall, and that 10 seconds of not being able to heal because nobody else was there comes back to bite the Gremlins. They lose their medic.
Look how slow they're playing. They are also expecting the Seno suicide, and since they still have cap time on that mid, that means they can maybe even delay at least Seno if they are on it. It's very difficult. They have to really stack it to deny this demo man, but no. Oh,
they do.
Yes, they do. So that can prove quite influential. I was worrying since they at least wasted 5 seconds, but they wanted to keep their medic safe, evidently. Still have a mild Uber advantage, which will not be enough for the last point Mon already on Engineer.
Yeah, you know what? I think they might have a go at this. They want to go for this. This is like 30%. Okay, it's not easy. They have to be careful. They have to basically get onto Mad Mac at some point during this Uber or just cap instantly. But here we go. Are we going to see an Uber charging? We are going to see the dot push in through 4. Loopy Rivka in the Uber. Get the gun. No, do they get the gun? They do eventually get the gun, but that has taken way too long. And now Mad Mac, with an Uber charge up of his own in this panic room, is able to just hunker down with the heavy of Utka. And in this long haul fight, I think this is only ever going to favour the Gremlins.
I mean, good cap time. Evie also, she had wonderful rockets, but it's the Ilan in the panic room. One rocket on one soldier in mid-air, in sixes even. Damage though is not enough, you need to get the frags. And Mad Mac lives bunkering, turtling in panic room, and that was it. Mon now on the second point, not really with a whole lot of company. Finally, I think his team can help out. It's basically Mon against the world. He wins.
It is for the moment, but the thing is that now there's a big Uber advantage, there's like 30% Uber advantage. They can try and walk this in. It's going to be an Uber charge incredibly early in from IT as they blast forward. Look at Sano flying in towards enemy choke. Frags falling left and right. Actually, Loopy and Rivka already down. DQZ jumping in onto second, tries to get in over towards Fat Pigeon, who does live and does get her own Uber charge up and ready for the moment, but they're bleeding players on the Club Lug side. Yes, the kill comes through onto Mad Mac. Yes, there is potentially a frag to find with Utka on the point, but Utka has been a slippery gamer to catch this entire game long. As we see, still not dying. How on earth is Utka living, by the way, this entire situation? There's no way.
What is happening?
There's 4 players Ubered right in front of Utka. How do you live?
Finally. Griggs did swamp them in the end. I mean, 6k on him, but those scouts made it very difficult. They're very recalcitrant to keep alive and divert so many resources. That seems to be the theme, the recurring theme of this very map. It is still, though, that we have to keep in mind 2-1 to Club Lugs.
It is, and it's their own Uber advantage as well, still at 30% advantage, because in that post-Uber, Mad Mac did fall to the Uber from a Fat Pigeon. So here we go. Second point getting nearly capped up. They haven't actually stood on it yet. They're just making sure everything's clear, everything's sorted, and everything's happy. Then losing Grix was not part of the plan, and almost losing Vivka as well would definitely not have been part of the plan. But here they go. Second point capped up, 30% advantage. I wonder if they are still going to want to go on this.
Ready to pounce mayhaps? Yes, look at their own Uber, it is coming through here. The sentry gun was immediately dealt with, and they can use the remainder of this Uber to wrap to the left, and Plucha is caught. Also, they are caught in the spawn door here, DQZ as well falling, only Heavy really being the main Omphalos on the point, receiving the buffs, receiving the heals. Griggs is walking in behind, shooting the demo man down. You can simply play this long term. Yes, the Uber comes out, but those spawners are still so late. Heavy though is still able to contest players.
It is, but look at this aggression coming back in from Yulin. Heavy does fall eventually, and the cap time is good enough. Very well played there from Club Lugs. They dealt with the fact they had 30% ad, but they just picked off the players around the Uber whilst it was going on. Sano gets completely blindsided by two players on the flank, whilst the Ubered Heavy just cannot help out. And players were just dropping all over the place in the last point for Gremlins. And a really nice counter-aggression in the end. Just got the point capped up before the spawn wave was in for the Gremlins. It's 3-1 now for the Club Lugs, doubling their lead. 10 minutes left to play. Sano once again electing to play a safe rollout.
Muma is back in Europe, but let's see if that even does help his efforts and his own team. Could be a catalyst again, as we've previously seen, but it is a very different set of skills here. Ilin is bombing onto Mad Mac down to 10 HP, able to lift. No one is looking at him. No one is shooting at him.
Oh, that was so awkward though, because Evie was like taking a fight with her back turned towards Mad Mac and could have easily just done a 180 and just shot towards the medic. But I believe that obviously the combos are really flaring up at that moment. Maybe it wasn't quite heard, but the option was there. But at the end of the day, this is not a disaster for the Club Lugs, right? They've got themselves a last, they've got enough players out, they've got a gun getting built up, they've got even Uber chargers, and now it's all on Gremlins. We've seen them try to pressure this last point before, and it was with mixed results. This time, the Mon up on the sniper. See, Mon said, yo, well, it's my turn.
And Griggs says my turn on checking, and now he has checked. I wanted to compliment the last push from Club Lugs before, since we have numerously pointed out those mid-fights, but it is a different set of skill. Not always. It is the fact that you win a mid-fight and you are good at last pushes. Now we have a new set of skill here, defending your last point.
Yeah, and aggressing it too. Mon has had some good moments on Sniper on other maps before. Over on Product, I believe, had some incredible impact. But we'll see what the Sniper is able to do into process last. Utska was nullified a fair bit, and certainly Mon is getting nullified here because the Ubercharge flicked straight into that Gremlin Sniper's face. Ubercharge traded out, Mad Mac using very far away from any doors. Ubercharge faded already before they even able to get into last. And now it's about the staying power of the Gremlins. How long can they stay in for? Well, they're eating the spam from this Heavy. The spawn doors are there, so there's constant resupplies coming in from the Club Lugs, and Gremlins going to have to back out.
How often do you see the simple call made and the simple point of focus of this entire Uber to kill a sniper that is peeking you down? But they also had, I think, decent calls, decent vision, but two midshots that were into Mon and he was basically down. They also didn't feel the repercussions on Club Lugs. Sometimes it is the case if you push on too forward and narrow sight yourself, kill a sniper, for example, in lobby, and then you can be wrapped, but they were able to dart back and pull out, and that worked. And it basically did what in the end? It did reset the Uber stakes, and they had 2 minutes on the clock more. Or fewer for Gremlins.
It's clearly like a set play that Club Lugs have, because Griggs checked that there was an enemy sniper and decided to come up on scout as the counter. That was an intentional thing. They must have been like have prepped this, like, you know what, if ever there's a sniper in process, we're going to just take Ubers aggressively into them. And it's much better taking that Uber charge with a scout than a soldier, because with that movement speed buff, you can cover so much more ground. and you can make sure that you can get that that Ubercharge force back out. Mon doing damage to the sentry gun that almost gets taken out, actually. Going to draw some attention over from Loopy. But that's kind of all that's going on, right? They're kind of all hiding away on Club Lugs. Mon can't really find too much yet.
A tale old as time on Process Last. Where do you rotate your sniper to find ahead, especially of the medic, impede their defense, and yeah, it's basically a personality cult at that point, but only 1 minute. Only one singular minute.
Yeah, here we go. It might be trade territory soon. They might just let you know there's Uber, a scout, and a demo, and fly around. Gun spam down at the start is actually a really, really good option now. So are they going to manage to get in? Attempt comes in from Mon for the sack. Not quite going to find anything. 45 seconds on this timer. Loopy decides to go up on sniper as well. Griggs peeking really aggressive up towards rollout too. So this is getting into an awkward situation now. Look, at so little time left. There is like maybe one last chance for a push, but it has to be like literally right now.
What did Senno just do there? Trying to remedy the situation. Fat Pigeon hasn't even popped yet. Still hasn't popped.
Oh no! That one's not going in the frag movie, is it? Senno not able to find anything with the Ubercharge coming in, and it's all Club Lugs as they manage to hunker down on this last point. DQZ, the last one in, trying to go for some kind of back cap or front cap, or I don't know exactly what we'd call this. You know, good effort, you know. I respect the attempt trying to sneak into rollout there, but not going to fool the Club Lugs like that. 5 minutes 50 left to play, 3 rounds to 1 is the scoreline, and who could have seen this coming off the back of that dominant map 1?
Quick shout out to Beta, who knows the one-on-one tactics here of production, showing the scoreboard, and you see the medics are topping the charts, but Fat Pigeon this time around obviously also having the benefit of being on the defending team way more, and of the team that is leading 3-1 has sizably more points. Senno elects to do a slow rollout again. Rivka has way much of a faster rollout, stares down at the soldier, but has a sticky that deters said soldier from bombing in any deeper. DQZ might be able to remedy the situation here, receives 200 and shoots the enemy soldier apart.
Oh, blew her! Massive bomb in towards Choke, just a ton of damage. Tricks back in though, Eevee as well, and it's chaos on this the blue side of the mid. But this is what the Gremlins have needed this entire game long. They've managed to finally get a mid fight where they've killed Fat Pigeon and kept Mad Mac alive. So like we said, 5 minutes left, 2 rounds to find, definitely doable. This is definitely a possibility if they're able to convert these rounds. But they've got to start getting rounds soon. Ubercharge up and ready soon. Spawners flying in. It's do or die for Gremlins. They've got to make this one work.
You know what the issue was? Club Lugs simply stayed in their own choke. They wanted to play it passive, but Gremlins simply walked over the point and crushed them with combined efforts, and also the fact that they didn't see the demo early enough. But now you see the demo. He is glaring. He is also plummeting some stickies forward, but his own trajectory was a bit deterred. So much kept them already coming in from Mon. They were all focusing on Senno, who tried to gain control and a pathway into the panic room. But now they're absolutely panicking here on the point. That was so wonderful. Senno jumped up on top and said, hey guys, I'm very scary with my stickies, and Mon got the point at least 90% kept.
Great stuff. Game on for the Gremlins. 4 minutes to play. Still 1 round to find, but definitely something that the Gremlins are getting a bit of momentum at this point, and like you say, really well taken Ubercharge there. They had the time to work with, but they managed to get so much cap time, and at that point there's nothing the Club Lugs can do. They have to just dedicate players to being on that point, and they played the frag so well over on Gremlins. Here we go. Potentially final mid-fight. Will they manage to get something aggressive this time around? Will they bomb in aggro? It looks like DQZ and Pluhar are going for something similar, and Pluhar again getting it onto Fat Pigeon.
This time it's a very different approach. The result is the same. They all explode in their own chokes. A Club Lugs that is, and it is the soldiers acquiring not only the space but also the damage.
Yeah, Loopy's trying to block mid, trying to get a fight in onto Mon to try and deny, but no.
So what they did this time, I mean, in the previous mid-fight win we've seen out of them, they simply had the hidden trajectory over the point and crushed them with the fact that the demo was not called early and seen early, and simply plucked so many stickies into the choke. This time around, it is Pluhar jumping toward the enemy team's sewer area, wrapping them from behind, and then they just crushed them with combined efforts. Now Senno again has his sticky diffused on the point, can't really jump in deep, but now he's jumping in deep.
All about this Posty Bassano does actually crater down to the ground at some damage at Eevee's hand now as Club Lugs try and get something onto this point. Salvage attempt comes in, oh my word, Fat Pigeon down to 8 HP in the spawn door, does finally get out to the resupply binder. Mad Mac last up will fall. And it's not as clean as they needed. And that, with 2 minutes left, you wonder how many more chances like that will the Gremlins have for the remainder of this game to get that one round that they need. Really well held, really like tiny margins as well over on Club Lugs, but with 2 minutes to play, a sniper up from Utka. They're really going to throw everything they have at this over on Gremlins, but it's full Desad.
Loopy walks into a sticky trap. They are still feeling the repercussions. It is in really nerve strangling territory right now, nerve straining territory here on Club Lugs. It's all to play for. You have to watch out for the sticky strats. Also from Utka, peeking here, peeking from Sewer and putting Fat Pigeon into the dumpster.
That's exactly what the Gremlins needed. And now a medic drop over on Fat Pigeon. Can they get any more though? Can they hunker down in the sewer? They've got Loopy coming in behind. They've got Eevee coming in from the front and they can't get anything. This could be 3-3 and more headshots ring in from Utka.
Played like a fiddle. That's so crazy. Maybe the spawns are coming in 5 seconds. Really difficult to even buy enough time. Utka is already peeking into the last point here. There's also a soldier on the last point. There's a Pyro still. The main arsonist. Can he defend it? He cannot. It's a 3-3. It's a tie. Only 1 minute here. And you gotta worry about overstepping. And Loopy dying to a sticky trap in basically the choke. Then afterward, it is a very wonderful position from Utka, from Sewer. Fully charged body shot. And 50 seconds only left in this game.
Is it possible to get around in this time? We've got crit screen coming up from Mad Mac, who clearly thinks there's like a chance of at least getting a crits up and getting some damage with it. Sano this time electing to actually do a rollout and do the Cadus rollout as well, getting a extra speedy onto this final mid-fight. With 30 seconds left, it's going to be an incredibly speedy win if either of these teams are to get back into this one. Bombs come in now from Yul and bombs come in and around from Eevee also. Frags coming left and right, but 18 seconds left. I'm wondering, I don't think there's really time for a round here.
Especially not if the team that has won the mid-fight had the point kept away from them in front of their eyes. So only 8 seconds now. Mon is trying to lengthen his own kill tally, some fantasy.tf points, but not to be as it is a 3-3. I think it's also in the rules, if you are in the possession of the midpoint once a stalemate runs out, you technically do win, but in any case, it's a tie here on process. And I was also wondering, you can just, agree on a mutual ceasefire on mid, essentially, but it was not the case. Both teams still tried their best, but the brunt of the points go to the Gremlins.
It will. We're still going to see who's going to get this final bonus point in Golden Cap. But yeah, it's a really impressive fight back from the Gremlins. That was what I think. It went 3-1 with, was it 6 minutes remaining? I want to say. And they have those 2 incredible mid-fights off the back of it to get themselves back into the game. The second one not even paying off directly because the Ubercharge advantage into last doesn't even come through. But Utka digs them out of the situation and gets themselves back into a position where they're really getting a point for this map, maybe 2, depending on how this final round of Golden Cap plays out.
Will be interesting to see. I mean, we already saw a lot of very interesting plays and also strategies just revolving winning conditions, which is always what I'm for, and it usually did start on the mid. There are now some numbers on the screen, and guess what? Utka is the top fragger again.
Not quite. Grick's got 28.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Second top of the Gremlins board, and yeah, had a really good game.
Okay.
But yeah, Rivka, I don't know, it's one of those like logs for this. It's like I think there's some players with certainly very high impact. Like Pluha is like all the way down in the dumpsters, but like Pluha, like basically, I'm not gonna say single-handedly because obviously it was the fact that bomb worked was set up by pressure from the rest of the team and the spam and stuff. But like the bombs that Pluha did in those last 2 mids got them their opportunities into last. Which was massive advantages. Fat Pigeon as well, much better performance this map than we saw over on Gullywash. Yeah.
It speaks volumes that a blue team has sizably more kills, on almost 20 kills more than Gremlins, and Gremlins simply came back with the last 2 rounds in last 5 minutes or so. or 6 minutes. And that was honestly insane wraparound. Again, it is all about nerve. It is the strength of how strong are your nerves in that last point. You push out onto a second and you gotta worry about players doing those cheeky strats. And they did those cheeky strats. And apparently this is the result.
Right, here's an important question, right? So, mid-fights on process looked pretty good for Club Lugs to start with. These like passive mids where they were sort of waiting for the enemy team to bomb. They were like sort of counter-bombing across the point with their soldiers. We saw some great work from Gillen and Evie in those. But later into the game, seems like that got counter-stratted by what we saw, particularly from Sano, and particularly what we saw from Pluha towards the end of the game. What sort of like, are we thinking there's going to be like a switch up again from Club Lugs now as they try and get themselves back, because they can't afford to have a mid-fight in Golden Cap that is anything reminiscent of the last 2 mid-fights that we had on like regular time, because they were just destroyed in their own choke.
The 2 times that happened was when on the very first mid-fight where they got absolutely swamped, Demoman walking uncountered over the point. So basically how you win this is with having Scout Dominion on top and just having vision there, but they elected obviously to play conservative, and the second point in time was when a soldier circled them in from behind. So those 2 options can both be negated by you walking forward. So it is sometimes a cost of a coin, but I think if they play as they played before, staying in choke for say 5 to 7 seconds and then walking through main, I think they definitely have a better shot. But again, maybe the even if Clublux adapt, what is if Gremlin just played differently than what they did before? The guesswork can stop now though, as Golden Cap territory is reached. It's a 3-3 in the normal time, and Golden Cap does spell out 50 minutes here on the total clock. Whoever caps the last point wins this process map.
Here we go, one more round to decide it all over on process. We've got Club Lugs rotating around more towards their right hand side this time. We see Gremlins very aggressively poised up onto this point. Big bombs forward in from Pluha, in from DQZ. Pluha in again, but Fat Pigeon this time lives on 10 HP as she scurries on all the way out in onto the second point. It has to be incredibly passive. Loopy separated out. Spam comes in, does a bit more damage onto the retreating blue medic, but not quite enough. Another very nice mid-fight coming in. Just the confidence is oozing out of the Gremlins.
It is simply oozing, and also the mentality of we are the top dogs is reverberating through the digital atmosphere. Fat Pigeon was a bit confused where her scout went, but eventually they were able to link up with it. DQZ is early spamming the sentry gun, is level 2 also repaired, level 1, never mind that, and is still being repaired. Loopy checking whether or not some off classes come in. Utka and Plucha both checking whether or not any off classes are on the defense.
Yeah, Utka's just sat around his spawn, checking on the spy as well. So again, like it's Golden Cap, right? There's no need to rush anything. Like even with the 4-minute round time, they've got so much time to work out what they want to do. And Utka this time around decided not to pick up the rifle, but instead to pick up the. Are we going to see some big backstabs? Are we going to see some big impact? Because we've seen it on the sniper. Will it work on the spy too?
He does the thing where he walks. Oh, he was spotted, by the way. He took a damage and it's caught because he did the thing where he walked into the scope of the sniper. There is a wonderful serve though from Fat Pigeon, serving her own namesake, taking flight and surfing out that damage. Yeah,
the dispenser doing its job as well. It's like kind of like the sort of like ablative armor, right? He got hit, but like got destroyed. But now here we've got Evie's in as well. Never mind. Actually, we're into sort of chaos mode. We've got players from Club Lugs coming incredibly aggressive forward, and now they're 2 players down on last. And spawners are here now for the Gremlins. They can take this aggressively if they want, because the spawners aren't even here yet. Utka's in.
Very, very easy, and it's still 2 seconds on those spawners. Utka is simply ushering his team in to walk onto the right side, receive the buffs, and now send all of your projectile damage sources onto that heavy, who is immediately evaporated by the bolt of Mad Mag. And if they have target selection, very much important here. Xeno falling down doesn't really matter though, as Red wins 4-3 for Gremlins, taking a very medium fight, but most importantly, damage calls. Putting all your damage into a heavy, because he is the main anchor that holds together this last hold.
Really nice work there. Great opportunistic work. Like, the time window they had to make that trade happen was tiny. Because, okay, there's like 11 seconds on the spawners, right? That feels like ages, and Uber lasts 8. So you know that Club Lugs are going to be like fine in terms of like losing players. The first 8 of those, they're going to get their spawners in. But in that time, we saw Gremlins get such amazing positioning. They had DQs end up above. They had all the spam ready to point to the heavy who was coming out of spawn. And they already had like the point completely encircled. And Club Lugs just couldn't do anything. They were just down 2 players.
That also facilitated from Club Lugs pushing into a second point and losing 2 players. Sometimes you are better off bunkering on your last, but apparently that is what happened. I gotta admit though, I mean, on process, either team would have been worthy of winning this, but for me, Gremlins looked like a bit more of the complete package here. We've seen so many adaptations of them, and that is also telling. I mean, it is called Top Division, not Premiership this time around, but those players are long-term players. They have been around the scene, and you see this. This was the 9th seed against the 10th seed, and Gremlins were the 9th seed, but still so many facets of high-level play seen from those players.
Yeah, there's between these 2 teams there is a lot of Prem experience, right? And that is going to put the Gremlins, I believe. Okay, I've not checked what the result was over on Print Stream tonight, but that result could have put them up into 8th, depending on if Compound got any points in their game. But that's like the all important cutoff, right? Because top 8 are going to be getting into playoffs at the end of the season. But I've been impressed by Gremlins in particular, but also by Club Lugs, what they managed to show, at least in the like first half of regulation of process. Like, both these teams are like going to be a bit annoyed if they don't manage to make it into these playoffs finally, right? Because they've both shown they can fight and they can hang with some of the more established teams, and yeah, they got lots of credit to take for that. But Gremlins this time around going to be walking away with 5 of the possible 6 points from this official. And things are looking up and up and up for the Gremlins, with last seed coming into this week. And maybe they can sneak into those playoffs and have some upset potential.
Sometimes summer seasons are not treated as competitively. You can maybe also seen on the fact that we have a top division or a premiership, but that can be a huge stepping stone for players that would have maybe previously not played into premiership, gain experience, especially in this Swiss group system where you play a lot of teams. And I think it is definitely strengthening the top scene in that sense, and also a top division is only as strong as the divisions that follow soon thereafter. But that was a lot of talking from us. Do you have any closing thoughts here, Ben, about any of this? Maybe some plugs as well. Sell out.
Yeah, we can do some plugs. Well, I think the Nightbot has been telling everyone about Uberfest. Feels like we should too. Obviously, it's summer season, top division, whatever. That's online TF2. TF2 for a lot of people is about lands, and myself included. It's Uberfest going to be back. It's going to be second weekend of September. Dates are in chat. Do go there. There are still, I believe, some team tickets available to play in the open bracket there. So it should be great. I was there last year, had an amazing time. So yeah, links are going to be in chat for Uberfest, and there's links like a TFTV post, and you can find more information there on that one. But beyond my little plug, that's it from me. And is that it from you as well, Tomato?
Brilliant. I mean, nothing else to add here aside or bar a shout out again to Beta for some wonderful production camera work. Also shout out to our crowd out there watching us. You are essential to us. We are essentials.tf. That was week 5, and we will catch you in the next one.